Imagine waking up to a planet where every volcano on Earth is active at the same time, and realizing there is no safe somewhere left to run to. There are moments in history when nature reminds us how thin our sense of control really is. The eruption of Vesuvius buried Pompeii in a single day. Krakatoa was so loud, it ruptured eardrums from dozens of miles away and sent tsunamis racing across oceans. Those were isolated events, separated by time and geography. Now scale that energy up, not by 10 or 20 times, but by more than 1,000. There are over 1,500 active volcanoes on land and many more hidden beneath the sea. If they erupted together, the first thing you'd notice wouldn't be fire. It would be sound, vibration, and the feeling that the ground itself had turned uncertain. For hundreds of millions of people living near volcanic regions, there would be little warning and almost no escape. Pyroclastic flows would move faster than vehicles, carrying superheated ash and rock that incinerates everything in its path. Entire regions would vanish, not with drama, but with terrifying speed. And even far from any volcano, no one would feel untouched. The atmosphere would change within hours. Ash clouds would rise high into the sky and spread across continents, thick enough to dim daylight into a permanent dusk. As the ash spread, sunlight would become a memory. Photosynthesis would falter, then stop. Crops would fail everywhere at once, not because of drought or pests, but because light itself could no longer reach the surface. The weight of falling ash would crush roofs, buckle infrastructure, and quietly collapse cities long after the eruptions ended. Engines would fail. Planes would be grounded. Power grids would go dark. Civilization wouldn't collapse in a single moment, but in layers as systems that depend on visibility, energy, and stability simply stopped working. The oceans wouldn't offer refuge. Underwater volcanoes would acidify large portions of the sea, killing plankton at the base of the food chain. Earthquakes and collapsing volcanic islands would displace enormous volumes of water, sending tsunamis toward coastlines around the world. Shores would become unpredictable, redrawn by waves that arrive without rhythm or warning. Even inland, air quality would deteriorate to the point where breathing itself becomes a risk. As sulfur dioxide filled the upper atmosphere, the planet would begin to cool. Aerosols would reflect sunlight back into space, pushing Earth toward a volcanic winter, similar in mechanism to the conditions that followed past mass extinctions. Temperatures would drop. Growing seasons would vanish. Starvation and disease would claim those who survived the initial chaos. Humanity would be forced into survival modes it hasn't relied on for thousands of years, only this time without a stable environment to adapt to. And yet, the story doesn't end with cold. Over longer timescales, the carbon dioxide released by global eruptions would overwhelm the cooling effect. The planet would swing in the opposite direction, trapping heat and accelerating a runaway greenhouse effect. Ice would melt, oceans would warm. The climate would become unstable in ways no civilization could endure. Earth wouldn't explode, but it would become hostile to complex life. There is even a deeper discomfort beneath all of this. Prolonged, massive eruptions could redistribute enough material on the planet's surface to alter its balance. Evidence suggests Mars may have tilted this way long ago, reshaped by its own volcanic past. Earth could, in theory, experience subtle shifts too, changing climate patterns on a planetary scale. In the end, what makes this scenario unsettling isn't just the destruction. It's the reminder that the planet doesn't need intent, anger, or malice to undo us. Everything that makes human life possible depends on a fragile alignment of geology, atmosphere, and time. If every volcano erupted at once, Earth wouldn't be punishing us. It would simply be returning to a state where our presence no longer fits. And maybe that's the thought worth sitting with. Not fear, but humility. The understanding that the ground beneath our feet is alive, patient, and vastly older than anything we've built. If this made you pause, save it, or share it with someone who likes to explore how small we really are when the planet decides to remind us.